side. Prepare for extermination
of your wallet.
This is Transformers Studio Series Commander Class Constructicons Longhaul and Hook, a Constructicon 2-pack in a Commander Class price point, both figures being around large, deluxe, small Voyager scale with plenty of engineering. With their release making 4 of 6 Constructicons available, joining Scrapper and Bone Crusher, check out their reviews if you haven't. There's not much in the box compared to other Commanders, but ultimately it needs to contain the Devastator bits and match the box size for the price point. Speaking of which, along with Hook and Longhaul, they come with their obligatory instruction sheet, their individual blasters, of which Longhaul's is in 2 pieces, the main trailer or body piece, but more on that later, the chest piece and wings, and 2 forearms/missile pods. These can all peg together for easy storage when towed behind Longhaul. Speaking of Longhaul, let's take a look at his vehicle mode first, because that's how they're boxed. A fantastic looking vibrant green dump truck. Taking a closer look, we have some subtle silver paint applications on the headlights and the pinned rims, which is nice, and some big chunky wheels. A little on the windows and a nice tampoed Decepticon symbol up front, plus some red and purple in the tray, which we'll see more of soon. Unfortunately, the tray is very shallow, there's no real depth to it. The tray does become his legs later, so I kind of understand why it's like this, but it's a nitpick, I guess. You can also plug in Longhaul's blaster in either side of the tray. Taking a quick look with him and his Combiner Wars counterpart, once again a decent size difference here, with the Studio Series being more compact. But again, I think it's a marked improvement over his predecessor. How do you feel so far between the Combiner Wars release and the current Studio Series releases? Discuss in the comments below. We can attach the trailer to Longhaul via this tow hitch. Slightly separate the back half of the tray, peg in the hitch and squeeze the tray back together. Some quick size comparisons before we move on to Hook. Here with Studio Series Scrapper, Studio Series Bone Crusher, Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, and Age of the Prime's Aerial Bot Slingshot. Taking a closer look at Hook in vehicle mode. A good looking little crane truck with some decent moulded detail, giving him the sense of scale amongst his team. Taking a closer look, once again lovely pinned and painted rims, applications for various windows and lights, and also a wee little Decepticon symbol on the crane cab. Unfortunately, it's fairly evident that Devastator's head is just chilling in the middle. It's not egregious, but it is there. Taking a quick look at Hook versus his Combiner Wars counterpart, again repeating, small yet improved in my opinion. Better styling, better hand feel, and I prefer the more compact footprint. Accessories wise in this mode, you can peg his blaster into the side of the crane arm, which is a great spot for it. The crane arm itself is articulated with multiple points, hinged at the base and rotation due to a 5mm peg. It extends a little and the hook itself can move. A marked improvement on the Combiner Wars mold. Again, some size comparisons. Here with Studio Series Scrapper, Studio Series Bone Crusher, Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, and Age of the Prime's Aerial Bot Slingshot. Now let's get these guys into robot mode. First up, Longhaul. Lift the tray section up from the back of the cab, untab and rotate out the forearms, hinging them up, tabbing them into the shoulder. Bring out the entire arm assembly on the double hinge shoulder joint, fold out the hands, and straighten the arms. Lift up the canopy, no, not that canopy, fold forward the hood and unfold the head. Close up the hood, tabbing it in, fold down the waist and leg assembly, then straighten the legs, tabbing the knees into the thighs. Separate the legs, fold up the canopy, and job done. Now onto Hook. Unfold these rear panels, lift the crane cab section up, moving it forward, retabbing it into the back of Debbie's head. Swing out the arms and extend the shoulders out on this double hinge. Fold down the shoulder pads, untab the elbow joints, fold out the crane arms slightly for clearance, extend out the front cab sections to form the lower legs, they're on a double hinge. Fold out the shins 90 degrees, and then fold out the feet plates. Then collapse the shins down into the lower legs. Separate the legs, and once again, job done. Here we have the two lads in robot mode, both looking fantastic. Starting with the comparisons to their predecessors, to me, the Studio Series molds are hands down superior. They might be smaller, but for the most part better in a lot of ways. I'm going to take this opportunity to state that the new Constructicons are not retooled or completely based on the Combiner Wars versions. Of course they share similar engineering and style in parts, they're the same fucking characters. As I've said before, there's only so many ways that you can transform Optimus Prime from truck to dude. It's the same here, get over it. They are new and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Taking a closer look at Longhaul, he's a nice beefy boy, great proportions for what he is, again a marked improvement over the Combiner Wars Longhaul, a fantastic head sculpt, most of the paint carrying over, with some awesome added hidden detail behind his hood. Folding it forward exposes a nice silver painted engine bay. One interesting point with the paint is his midsection, which is fully painted, green over a purple piece, with only the tabs exposed. As multiple pieces tab into this as part of the transformation, hopefully the paint holds up here. My only other point is the wheels on the back of the legs. It would have been nice if they could have folded in and given a bit of a neater profile, but again, that's a bit of a nitpick, no biggie. Articulation is pretty decent here. His chunky head is on a ball joint, allowing for full rotation, can look down slightly and has a little waggle. Universal shoulders with a full range of movement, including a little shrug due to the secondary transformation hinge. Ball jointed elbows providing rotation and a 90-degree bend. Unfortunately, no waist again and no wrist swivels. Universal hips with a full range in all directions. Thigh swivel. Around 80 degrees of a knee bend, though you can use the higher transformation joint to exaggerate the movement. Deep ankle tilts and a heel bend. Not bad considering his chunk, also allowing him to use his blaster in either hand or pegging it into the side of his leg. Now where's Hook? Here he is. I think Hook looks fantastic, plenty of detailing all over his body, including some faux wheels moulded into the inside of the arms, giving that dual axle look. Some nice added paint on the shins and his collar. Another small Decepticon logo on his abdomen, and another cracking head sculpt, with neat silver face and a nice bold red visor. Proportions look great here. Of course he can wield his blaster in either hand. You can also remove his crane arm and use the 5mm port to plug it into his forearms, which is added play for his articulation. Starting with a ball jointed head, he can look up and down slightly. Rotation is limited by the shoulder pad. Universal shoulders, nearly did it, with it essentially a full range in all directions, though it will clash with the back kibble in some positions. Like Longhaul, there is also a secondary shoulder hinge, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow bend. Again, no wrist, no waist. Unfortunately a consistent trend with these new Constructicons. Universal hips with a decent range in all directions, only limited in the backswing. Thigh swivel, again around 80 at the knee, a full ankle tilt, and the foot can hinge forward. Again, like a Longhaul, the articulation is decent, but not perfect. The missing wrists are annoying, but the lack of waists is really frustrating. At least usable ones anyway. Some robot mode size comparisons with them both. Here was Studio Series Scrapper, Studio Series Bone Crusher, Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, Age of the Prime's Aerial Bot Slingshot, and Age of the Prime's Aerial Bot Silverbolt. Now let's convert these boys into the combined modes. Let's get the auxiliary parts sorted first. Remove the forearms and chest pieces. Fold these purple locking clips together, unfold and extend this series of panels, then fold them upon themselves in this manner. Fold down the thighs 90 degrees and fold down the hip skirts. Now pop this aside and grab Longhaul. We're going to do these from vehicle mode. First unfold his leg/tray like we did earlier. Bring out the arms on the double hinge, rotate the forearms and fold them back on themselves, tabbing them into the upper arm. Now fold the leg assembly up against the cab 90 degrees, fold back and collapse the canopy, unfold the heels and tab them into said canopy. Now for Hook, shift the crane cab over to the right, fold down his forearms and fold away his hands. Fold down the peg from the crane cab, lift the driving cab and fold out the peg, closing the cab again. Untab the two halves at the center, rotate the halves around and tab them in together. Fold over Devastator's head and tab it into the torso. Angle down the central arm and fold the outer arm back up. Lift the helmet and fold out Devi's face. Now let's grab Longhaul and join them together. Now first of all, we need to line up the two larger pegs, with the purple one on Hook pegging into the cab on Longhaul and the black smokestack pegging into the footplate on Hook.
We also need to tab in Longhaul's arms on either side of Hook.
Next we connect the leg crutch section to the underside of Longhaul via these large purple locking tabs. Then tab Longhaul's knees into the back panel here. Now let's grab our previously reviewed Scrapper and Bone Crusher. To see how to prepare Boney here, check out his review. Now attach Bone Crusher to the peg and slide him down carefully but firmly until he clicks into place. His rear tread will also tab into Longhaul's forearm. Now for Scrapper, separate his legs, slide the left hand leg into Devastator's thigh, then close up the other leg, tabbing them together. Grab the forearm, fold out the hand, the left one can attach to Bone Crusher like so. Now grab the chest pieces, tab in the two wings. This will tab in centrally here, and the left hand wing will tab into Bone Crusher's treads here. Obviously when Scavenger comes, this will be repeated on the right side. Here we have 4/6 of Devastator. 4/6. I have trouble saying that one. 4/6 of Devastator. Looking great, other than the widely publicised junk in the trunk.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
I think he looks fantastic so far. I've always found that the Combiner Wars Devi to be fairly wide and tall, but very thin from the front to back. The Studio Series improves on this greatly. A couple of things I wish could be improved though. The hands feel undersized and are definitely under-articulated. Superion is the same. The blocky fists are detrimental to the overall look and presence. I have the DNA Designs kit on Menasor, and it looks dynamic just standing there. I'm sure DNA will do kits for all of these modern combiners, and I'll be picking them up just for the hands alone. Also, the head is only on a swivel. This was an issue with the Combiner Wars version 2, mostly due to how the head transforms on the plate, but even a restricted ball joint or a slight internal hinge would have been better here. You can give him a faux backwards head tilt, though limited by breaking up the sculpt. On these big bots, a downward look is needed in my opinion. Though we'll cover his articulation in a full video later once we have the full team for Devastator. But for now I will say, I do wish the hips had an outward ratchet as well as the forward and back ratchet that is present. Overall, so far so good. We'll save the formal size comparisons for Devastator for later video. Bonus mode. Remove the combiner legs and crutch, now transform Longhaul's legs. Come on, that's gold. Get a second bone crusher and you're all set. Overall, this set is a marked improvement on the official Constructicons previously released. For all the flack I've seen on social media for this guy, I believe it's totally unwarranted. I definitely recommend getting this set and the Constructicon releases as a whole. I wouldn't say the Studio Series team devastates the Combiner Wars gestalt, but it is superior in many ways. As for the individual bots, both Longhaul and Hook are great. So far I've enjoyed all 4 releases so far, the lack of waist joints being the main letdown. Let me know your thoughts on the set in the comments below. That was Transformers Studio Series Commander Class Constructicons Longhaul and Hook. Thanks everyone for watching. I greatly appreciate those that are still watching and watch my videos all the way through. It really helps out. Catch you on the next one.